Yo, what's going on? Oh, well, that's a way to start a video, huh? Oh, boy. Just got off the hill here. Out in Keystone. Beautiful Colorado. This time of year, February. Snowing like crazy. Absolutely loving it. Got a few turns in. Hopefully tomorrow will be even better. Get a nice morning run. About 8 inches or something like that. But anyway, I wanted to come back here and get started on some open, high, lows, low and close scenarios. Just doing a weekly study. One that's been looking at me kind of square in the face here is MES, or the S&P. Obviously, one of the more widely traded commodities here. But I don't know. Referencing Larry Williams' books and fractals and pivots, I thought we would start a channel that was really dedicated towards, the open, the high, the low, the close of the week. Where can I find some entries? Where did we know that, it was going up or it was going down this week? And this way, I'd take a look at a couple of different charts, and this one's kind of loaded here. I've already taken a look at it, but we're going to go over it again, for my sake and hopefully for anybody else's sake. And maybe we can find some kind of indicator that's going to let us know, hey, we should get in this trade, and we should hold to the end of the week, or we should buy, or where's the dips, or what's going on. I mean, buying dips in the S&P lately is, you don't go wrong. You didn't go wrong if you bought any massive dips. So let's just take a look at this chart. So I did mark off the previous week's open. It's high, it's low, and it's close. Looks like we opened, and the low was the open last week, or the previous week. So what we're looking for is, the full trading week for last week, which was, the 10th through the 14th, or the 9th through the 14th. So let's see if we can peg something here on the intraday. Let's go 10 days. We'll do like a 15-minute, and see if we can identify some pivots, some fractals, some areas where we would be buyers. The reason why I chose 10 days and not 7 days is because I need to see a couple of pivots back here that have been at work. All right, so what are we looking for here? Market opens here on Sunday, and it opens up. Futures market opens up here Sunday. Right about this time. Right what this line is, right? And it looks like it opens just about where, didn't gap up or anything like that. Opened up nicely where the previous week close was, and we dumped down. So this is our Sunday, Monday. There's Sunday, Monday low here. I'll just mark that off. So there's our Monday low. Trade's ready on Tuesday. So here's our low for the day. It finishes at an extreme here at a 24-hour period. From one place, from one area to the other. Let's see where we can get into this trade. Where would we have known that this low was our intermediate low, as Larry would call it, or our short-term low in the scheme of this? So we got this low over here. And it runs into this top over here nicely. Runs into this pivot nicely. Alright, so we've got that. And what had really interested me about this was that we had two higher lows on either side of this pivot. This is the real kipper for me. And this would be termed your intermediate low. We come down here, we bounce off this support area, find buyers here. Come down through, catch this pivot. I mean, this really looks like the place that you would want to buy. So we get above this pivot here. Here's the first pivot that we get over and find support for. I would be a buyer right here. Because what's going on here is this, I mean, we broke this high, we found support here. Well, we did not push lower. Well, a lot of people term, this type of pattern like a inverse head and shoulders, but I mean, this is an accumulation pattern. Well, we've got this intermediate low down here, and there's a lot of intermediate lows or intermediate highs up in this area. But these are the major pivots that we're looking at here. This is where price pushed away from quite considerably. So this pivot, we pushed up. Notable pivot here. Notable pivot coming off this sell. We pivot up and we kind of trickle down here. At this pivot, this is where we get a nice response off this pivot. So we know this is a fractal we're going to look at juxtaposed to this. So we got a higher low on this side, and then we get a nice push off from here. That's a nice impulse. That right there is a nice impulse. That's notable. Even off 15-minute chart. That's a notable impulse there, and this is where we're watching for support. If you were a buyer here, you made out pretty decently. You made out pretty decently because we identified that there was a pivot here, an intermediate low. This was the low. We didn't push past it, and we had a nice impulse up. So yeah, I mean, looking at ES here, this looked like a pretty darn good setup. So where's your targets? So Larry would say that your targets would probably be from this pivot to the next into your high. It would be twice the length of that, I believe. So here's your supposed high. We come down here. We want twice the distance from here to here. So have we even got that yet? No, we haven't. No, we haven't. But maybe we're wrong. Maybe the pivot is here. From this low to this pivot. And twice the distance from there. So you made out alright. And if you put a profit target right up about here, look pretty darn good. And this is, again, this is one of the first open, high, low, close scenarios that we've done here. But we're looking to do this quite consistently, because as intraday traders, I mean, where do you get in here, Where do you get into this trade safely? This was a good area to get into. This was a good area to take profits. So what do we got here? What are we lining up for the next week? Well, here's a low pivot. We pushed off this pretty nicely. This is a higher low than this low. And what do we got here? We got another higher low. So this scenario looks a lot like this one, where if we can come up and find support, maybe we'll buy and go the other way. I, for one, think that on the seasonal chart that ES is in rally mode. I'll take a look at ES and just kind of post this real quick so that we can see that, is this rally, legitimate? or so far looks pretty legitimate for the last week. We got a higher low here. Is our intermediate low? Let's take a look at the highs too. We think that we've got a higher low here. You know, you have your lows in for this rally up. If we get rejected up in here, we get rejected before we take out this high, and we come down, we break this low. I probably would not bet that this was going up in the next week. But if this low pivots in, oh boy, if this low pivot is in here, yeah, we could be continuing on here. So let's just take a quick look and see if we can legitimize this. Let's see here. I like to look at market sentiment every once in a while too. Same thing, even on the higher time frames as the lower time frames. Market sentiment was down here. Took it the other way. Same thing here. Market sentiment was down a little bit. Took it up the other way. What's going on over here? Market sentiment is low. And on a bullish commodity, sentiment's low, and then they take it the other way. And what happens when it's high? You get a little sell-off. You get a little too excited up here. Market sentiment's really high. Yeah, I'll be a little bit selling off. Boom, boom. And we just go from one foot to the other here. We just watch the sentiment change. You have a strength indicator on, on your 15-minute chart. Market sentiment seems to work out pretty well at saying, hey, if you're going to decide to be a buyer here, sentiment's up, Sentiment is on the rise. It might be a good idea to put in a bid here. This market sentiment was blazing up in here on the 15-minute chart, right? Didn't come down very much. Started its trek back up. Maybe we're overextended up in here. That's why I saw a little sell-off. But they're excited about the S&P still. Let's let me bring that chart up here so we can take a look at the S&P and what we think we found on the seasonal study here. Sometimes you got to really expand these and just kind of get into it and be like, okay, what's I hate that. Well, once you adjust the scales on TOS, you can't do this. You can't drag it over like that. Drives me nuts. Boy, this looks pretty damn telling, right? We put this little green circle here because we said, well, this is about the time that the S&P rallies. Where's it going to rally to? About beginning of March. And it's going to rally hard. Is that the case? Is that what's going on right now? Oof. Where is that? I like to get my little drawing tool out here because then you can really clearly see what the heck is going on in the seasonal chart. So we've got this pivot here on the seasonal that says, well, there's usually a decline a little bit. This green line is the current year, and then nice thick burgundy color is the average. So what happened to the S&P? What happened to the S&P in the last couple of weeks? Well, we kind of hit this area around this time of year. Well, it was sold off a little bit. And there's the average, comes down a little bit into the first part of February. Here we are about mid-February now, and we're looking at a rally. Does the S&P come down? Does it generally come down a little bit before this rally? Yeah, I would say so. Quite a few years in the books here on this 8-year study show that the S&P usually sells off a little bit before this beginning of February rally. Well, they don't come down too much. Some of the seasons got a head start. These 2 seasons back here. Oh, they were ripping. Right up until that point. They're a little selling off. This season is way above the average. This season come down nicely. You know, started out the year pretty shitty. Here comes that February rally, mid-February rally, and starts picking up the pace here considerably. I mean, what are we looking at here? So we're down -8, and this rally's up to about 2.7%. Is that fully? No, I mean, it went even further. This rally didn't stop until April. So we came up in the 4.4% range. So that's it's about what? About 12%. A nice contract down there, and you knew there was a rally coming, and it started, and you got your bid in. That was a nice rally. Well, this season, yeah, I mean, seemed to rally pretty nicely, all things considered. Well, this season looked like it started to rally around the same time. Yeah, I mean this is looking good if you're bullish on the S&P. Well, this is pretty damn bullish. It's been pretty damn bullish. So now here we are. Here we are right now. Is this rally done? Are we done rallying? It don't look like it. It does not look like we are done. Not if the seasonal chart has anything to say about it. A pretty convincing time to rally for the S&P. So where's that season here? Get a little squirrely, but she rallied up nicely. And she stopped for a while on this season. I mean, it looks good. I mean, can we find some years where it didn't rally? I mean, there's got to be a few, right? I mean, this season rallied up a little bit. Way back here. This blue line here. It's caught in between this mix. It still rallied up a little bit, even though it came down. Didn't have quite the gas that the rest of the seasons had around this time of year. But it didn't look bad. It didn't look bad at all. So what do we have? I mean, just looking at this chart. I mean, what do you got here? From this point to this point, it looks up. It looks like rally. It looks like a bullish rally until we get up into this area, and then we might see some selling off here. And that's not until mid-March or something like that. I mean, they came down a little bit, not tremendously. Maybe a sell here, maybe a hold. Take a look at what the rest of the season looks like. Looks like I got this marked off as an area where some selling might increase, and this is an area where they might have the buying might have picked off a little bit here. So we get a little selling off mid-March, but it don't look bad. I'd say it looks pretty. Just looking at this, it looks flat. Where you got some variation, but it doesn't look like the rally that's going on here. And this just looks flat. A little trading sideways or something like that. Maybe that's when your weekly open high and your low and your close are looking for you, where you can drill down into a weekly chart and then go from there. But this looks good. This looks good. Is this going to continue up? We'll see. We'll see. We like it. I like the seasonal chart on this. Oh, what's the future hold? Oh, it looks good, man. This looks like a solid rally up here. A little selling off and a little more rallying. Oh shit! So maybe you get in here and you just hold. I don't know. There are some seasons that sold off. So I mean, the average. Just looking at the average here, has been pretty good for the S&P. So we come back to this chart and we say, well, this looks pretty damn legitimate. Should I be fearful? Should I not buy a dip? No, don't do that. There's plenty of setups going on here. Let's go back to MES because we've got that one marked off. Go to the micro here. The one thing that does concern me about this chart, and I'm just gonna grab this real quick off my other screen so that we can see this, is this pattern. I mean, people swear by, rising wedges, and I watch them too, I do. Target for a breakdown of this is somewhere down here. This looks like a pretty good area for support if it was going to come down and bounce off. Is it breaking down? Yeah, it's trying. It's trying to break that down. If you get an opportunity to buy a dip here, I probably would, especially looking at the seasonal chart. I mean, unless it's losing support along the way. I mean, we've got this to contest with. We've got this box down here to contest with. It's this, there's some interest here. There's some interest here. Looks like they've already, they're tapping into this interest here. See if it breaks down. If it breaks down, do you buy a dip on this? I mean, we looked at the study. We looked at this on the Friday roundup, and I don't know how convincing it is for MES. On the 6-month index, they're not very optimistic down here. But they weren't very optimistic down here, and they went the other way anyway. They switched feet. Here's 1 week, and then they're up. So they're way down here at 0%, setting new 6 months lows on the 6-year index, and next week up, we're buying it. We're up here, 44% difference. So we're selling, we're buying, we're selling, we're buying. Where is the consistency? I don't see any consistency just yet with MES on the 6-month at least. But the consistency of the 3-year index is what it is. It's bullish. They've been buying. But where can we get an indication on the 6-month that they're definitely going one direction? Maybe picking up a little bit, and then they're selling it off. They were holding short right back here. This week starts on Tuesday. They get a little bearish. A little bit. They're still holding a little bit bearish. 2 weeks in a row. I don't know. They could change, drop of a dime. I don't know how helpful the 6-month index is with ES. I really don't. It's hard to tell. But the 3-year, fuck, buy dips. If it wants to dip, just buy them. Seems to be the theme going on around here. As soon as we broke the ATR, and what couldn't have been a week later, we were off to the races again. It was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it was 6, 7 days. So we have one day for a short opportunity, or 1 day for a short opportunity, maybe 2 or 3 days for a short opportunity, and then we went the other way. I gotta see something significant here, because ATR 9 and 2.5 or 2.0 is 2.5 is just buy dips. There's nothing else to say. 6 months index don't help. 3 years are a leading indicator. This is probably something, market sentiment is probably something to worry about here. It's blazing. It's blazing. When's this thing going to run out of gas? 3,600? Who knows? But open interest is high. WPR's got us oversold here. Let's just clean this up. Let's clean this up here. and just stick to the rules. Stick to the rules. What looks bearish for us? Well, 6 month, if it's helpful. 3 years dip a little bit below the 80, so not as bullish, but I mean, look how subtle this is. Very subtle. Up in here, we're up over 80%. Very subtle. And then we're a little bit lower. A little bit lower. But if the 6 month's going to be helpful, you know, open interest is high. We're a little bit on the oversold or overextended side, and market sentiment's up really high. Will this keep pushing? Yeah. Looks like it. It looks like it. I feel like the market, I feel like people are waiting around to get these short opportunities here, but they're just not coming. Even with the sentiment as high as it is. And maybe we can drill this down in a weekly and find out. Oh, this thing's blazing. This thing's blazing. How long it will continue to go, we don't know. But so then we just, find a safe area to get into these trades. We'll find a safe area. Here's a pivot. Here's your high pivot. It comes down. So we go from one pivot to the next. We get a higher low on this side, we got a higher low on this side. And we've got this nice impulse that would make us think about buying here. Like, this is a nice safe area to buy and to ride this wave. And then are we getting another confirmation here that this is going higher again? Unless we break this pivot here, I vote for up here. We got to see if there's going to be a rejection up in here. Oh, maybe it ranges up too, And it starts distributing. Oh, Monday's going to tell a tale. We'll see how, or Tuesday will tell a tale. Anyways, that's this is the first episode of the open, high, low, close, study group, and we're going to look to do a couple of more too. We're going to look to do quite a handful during the week to see where we're getting into these trades here. Anyways, I want to thank you for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for putting up with my commentary. And hopefully this is helpful. And big thanks goes out to Larry Williams again for divulging a lot of this information in his books. This one comes from Long-Term Secrets to Short-Term Trading. Pick it up, read it. There is a wealth of information in there that is just mind-blowing. I've studied a lot of different courses, a lot of different content, tons of different technical analysis, but Larry seems to be the real sweet fruit. Let's just put it that way. So thanks for stopping in. This has been Pyramid Trades. Good luck out there. Hope you find yourself on the right side of the trade. Peace.